I'm smelling coffee, birds are singing just outside. Here comes your mercy, streaming in with the morning light. My heart's racing, waking up to your smile, saying, good morning. Saying, good morning.
All right, well, good morning. Welcome back to Breakfast with the Bible. We are still in Psalm 34. Today we are covering verses 9 to 16. If you missed it, yesterday we covered 1 to 8. We read the entire psalm and then we just did 1 to 8. And then today we're just going to read 9 to 16. And tomorrow we'll finish up with 17 to 22. Oh, fear the Lord, ye his saints, for there is no want or no lack to them that fear him. The young lions do lack and suffer hunger, but they that seek the Lord shall not want or lack any good thing. Come, ye children, hearken unto me. I will teach you the fear of the Lord. What man is he that desireth life and loveth many days, that he may see good? Keep thy tongue from evil, and thy lips from speaking guile or deceit. Depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. The eyes of the Lord are upon the righteous, and his ears are open unto their cry. The face of the Lord is against them that do evil, to cut off the remembrance of them from the earth. So, there is an appropriate respect and reverence to, let's see, what am I doing? Yes, that's right. There is indeed an appropriate respect and reverence of one who faithfully, without fail, supplies every need. Oh, fear the Lord. Respect him. Reverence. O ye his saints, for there is no lack to them that fear him. David understood this. This fear of the Lord and the trust in him should not be separated. We trust in the Lord. We respect the Lord because of his faithfulness. We fear the Lord, reverence the Lord, and trust in him. Like it should be something that we can't pull apart. Reverence for the Lord and trust in the Lord should be one and the same. They're both different aspects of understanding who God is or the way we approach him, but we should reverence him and we should trust him because we reverence him. I don't think that we would trust him as much if we didn't have the fear of him. So I think those two similar yet different aspects of how we perceive God, how we approach God, should always be together. Verse 10, the young lions do lack and suffer hunger, but they that seek the Lord shall not lack any good thing. It's interesting that while we know God is aware of each sparrow that falls to the ground, a strong young lion can still suffer hunger for lack of food. I mean, if you watch National Geographic, you can understand, you can see the way the circle of life goes. Sometimes a young lion just doesn't make it. You know, there's famine in the land. There's trouble. There's just a lack of food. So while the young lion is strong and very powerful, if there's no food, it doesn't do you any good. And while God provides for them, generally, we know that sometimes it just doesn't happen. Sometimes there will be a powerful animal that just doesn't survive because of lack of food. Yet, in contrast, we who are usually weak are provided for continuously. The other part of this that David is telling us is that those who seek the Lord shall not lack any good thing. We must realize that everything the Lord gives us is ultimately good, even if in some instances we don't see how. They that seek the Lord shall not lack any good thing. For us, if it's from the Lord, if you seek the Lord, if you trust the Lord, if you've put your faith in Jesus Christ, then everything that you receive from the Lord, regardless of what it looks like to you, is essentially a good thing. Because everything that the Lord does is perfect. Even though we don't enjoy it, even though it doesn't make any sense, the end result is still the same. God's blessings, God's provision for you, whatever it may be, is always good. Even, like I said, even if we don't understand, even if it's a burden, even if it's hard for us to deal with, it's still good. We understand Romans 8:28. Everything that happens to us, God causes it to work out for good for those who love him and are called according to his purpose. Doesn't mean that everything that happens to us is a good thing, but the Lord is able to make it to benefit us if we allow it. If we go to God and go, what can I take from this? How can I grow from this? If you look at it in this way, then you could essentially grab hold of the benefit or the good that can come out of those kinds of situations. Paul had nothing and yet possessed all things. Verse 11, come ye children, hearken unto me, I will teach you the fear of the Lord. If we look back to the context in 1 Samuel 21 and 22, 21 and 22, we see that David finds an audience. So David runs away from this king. So we read yesterday that David pretended to be a madman, a crazy person, and ended up escaping from this king and went and hid in a cave. So starting in chapter 22, David therefore departed thence and escaped to the cave of Adullam. And when his brethren and all his father's house heard it, they went down thither to him. Verse 2, and everyone that was in distress, and everyone that was in debt, and everyone that was discontented or bitter of soul, gathered themselves unto him, and he became a captain over them, and there were with him about 400 men. So David ended up having an audience. David goes and hides and escapes to this cave, and roughly 400 men show up. Now David has an audience. David has a group of people that are now relying upon him. So David, in this psalm, is addressing these people. As we saw yesterday in verse 5, they looked unto him and were lightened, and their faces were not ashamed. These men were seeking David for a leader, for somebody to help them. So if we look at verse 11, come ye children, so he's speaking to these men, and probably women and children could be, and he's addressing them as children, not as though they are young and immature, but in a term of endearment, if you will. Come ye children. So he's addressing them as beloved ones, as ones he cares for. Hearken unto me. Listen, pay attention to what I have to say. I will teach you the fear of the Lord. This is under the assumption that they may not understand it as thoroughly as David does. Maybe they do. But regardless, David wants to share something with them. I will teach you the fear of the Lord as I have experienced these different things. David likely shared with them his recent lessons in faith, including the fear of the Lord. We've seen previously in Psalms of all of David's experiences and all of David's troubles and deliverances and all, this roller coaster of emotions that he's prone to being involved in. And so his confidence in God has always seemed to increase. It's always been there, but it in some cases it seems like it's become a little bit stronger, a little bit deeper, and it just builds upon this fear of the Lord that David has. And he says, I will teach you this fear of the Lord. I will teach you, I will share with you what I've learned, what I've experienced, what God has done for me. And we see that in previous Psalms where David is saying that he's going to tell people, I'm going to shout it, I'm going to share it with the world, praise him in the congregation, let people know about it. Boyce wrote, David is saying that the fear of the Lord is doing right. That is, that involves obedience. So it's more than just doing right, but it's this overwhelming sense of obedience. I will do what you say, Lord. Verse 12, what man is he that desires life and loves many days, that he may see good? David's audience is described as his brethren, all of his father's house, people in distress, people in debt, people discontented, people bitter of soul. David taught this group that in order to see a blessing, one must live in the fear of the Lord. These men came to him in need. They all had different troubles for various reasons. Some of them probably self-inflicted, in debt, discontented, distress. Again, some of these may have been from their own choices. And David wants them to understand that if you desire life, if you desire many days, if you desire to see good, then fear the Lord. And I want to teach you this. Verse 13 says, keep thy tongue from evil and thy lips from speaking guile or deceit. So to avoid speaking evil or slander or deceit, this group in all of their troubles would likely be prone to such talk as David is particularly addressing lying. Okay, these men could be in debt, could be distressed, could be discontented for deception, for lying, for a variety of different things that could have involved the way they speak. David may be addressing this particularly on purpose because it's something he's aware of. It's something that stands out, something he knows that these people are involved in, whatever the case may be. Depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. That's verse 14. But not simply avoid doing evil in tongue, but their life as a whole should be directed away from evil and toward good. Don't just stop doing evil or stop speaking evil. Depart from it. Get away from all kinds of evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. Paul said in Romans 12, 19 to 21, or 9 to 21. Let me go ahead and read it real quick. Romans, 12. Yeah, that's what he was saying. I don't know what I was going to say, 9. Romans 12, 9 to 21. There we are with these thin pages again. But I love this Bible. It's my favorite one. So, 9 to 21 says, let love be without hypocrisy. Abhor that which is evil, cleave to that which is good. Hate what is evil. Cling to the things that are good. Be kindly affectionate one to another, with brotherly love and honor, preferring one another. Not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. Rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer. Distributing to the necessity of saints, given to hospitality. Bless them which persecute you, bless and curse not. Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. Be of the same mind one toward another. Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits. Recompense no man evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of all men. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. Depart from evil, do good, seek peace and pursue it. If it's as much as lieth within you, live peaceably with all men. Spurgeon says regarding this verse, to teach men how to live and how to die is the aim of all useful religious instruction. The rewards of virtue are the baits with which the young are to be drawn to morality. While we teach piety to God, we should also dwell much upon morality towards men. Verse 15, the eyes of the Lord are upon the righteous, and his ears are open unto their cry. Still addressing his followers, David intends to impart some encouragement. David reminds them that the Lord hears the cries of those who put their trust in him. The eyes of the Lord are upon the righteous. If you desire life and loves many days and seek good and want to see good, live righteously, because the eyes of the Lord are upon the righteous. His ears are open unto their cry. If you want God to hear you, then keep thy tongue from evil and thy lips from speaking guile. Depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. This is what David is saying. You guys are in distress. You guys are in debt. You guys are discontented. But you desire good. You desire life. You desire, many days. So live righteously. God will hear you. God's eyes will be upon you. If you listen to my teaching, is what David is saying, and trust and fear the Lord, he will hear you. This is a promise. Verse 16, the face of the Lord is against them that do evil, and to cut off the remembrance of them from the earth. It was vital for these men to know that there is a reward for those who are obedient and curses for disobedience. Excuse me. David, I think, encourages as well as warns them. The face of the Lord is against them that do evil. Maybe speaking of his enemies or those that are opposed to these men, but also these men themselves. The face of the Lord is against them that do evil. If you want God to hear you, if you want God to pay attention to your need, live righteously. But be warned, the face of the Lord is against them that do evil. So depart from evil and do good. The face of the Lord is against them that do evil, to cut off the remembrance of them from the earth. David, I think, is building this case. Okay? It is a warning to them in order to live right, but an encouragement because they are given the sure end of their enemies. If your enemies are against the Lord, they will perish. If you are disobedient, you will also perish. However, if you desire life and love many days and want to see good, then live righteously, and the face of the Lord will be upon you, and this will not be your end. This truth would apply both to them and to their enemies. The eyes of the Lord are upon the righteous; his ears are open unto their cry. He's saying, you guys have come to me with needs. You're in debt. You're in distress. You're discontented. You're bitter. Seek God. Fear him. Change your ways. Live life differently. Depart from evil. Do good. Seek peace. And the eyes of the Lord will be upon you, and his ears will be open unto your cry. This promise was for them as much as it is for us right now. You want God to hear you. You want God to provide the good things for you. This isn't necessarily this idea of earning it. But God cares for his children. Now we may step out of line and be disobedient once in a while, some more than others. It doesn't change the fact that God is still our Father and provision will be made. That goes back to the chastisement in Hebrews that we talked about, where even the chastisement of the Lord is a good thing, which we go back to verse 10, where they won't lack any good thing. We won't lack chastisement if we disobey God or if we step out of line. That'll happen too, and that'll be a good thing. It may be grievous for the moment, but joy comes in the morning, if you say. So we want God to hear us. We want God to provide for us. We want God to do good for us. We should, for that reason, live obedient, righteous lives. Not to earn it, but because he desires to provide for us, because he does these things for us. We live this way for him because of what he's done for us, not in order to get what he wants to give us, or what to earn those blessings. Now, some blessings we get because of the good things we do. There's truth in that. But the mercy, the grace, the salvation, everything we get from God that is good, sometimes we earn it in a sense, but more often than not, it's not something that we've managed to come to God and say, hey, look what I've done. And he'll go, hey, yeah, here you go. It doesn't quite happen that way. God is merciful, God is gracious, and he provides for his children, even when we're stupid. And the idea here that David is saying is really a heart issue. Okay, seek peace. Make your motivation different. Aim this way. We know you're going to miss sometimes. But if you're walking in this direction, if your purpose is this way, if you desire this direction, this way, this life, even though you slip every once in a while, God's eyes will be upon you. Now, if you rebel against this way and walk this way on purpose, well, then there's no hope for you. If you rebel against God, if you reject God, then your end will be different than those who put their faith and trust in Jesus Christ. It's biblical. It's the way it is. So if you work tirelessly to say, God, I don't need you, he will let you walk away. He will let you go in your direction, and you will reap the benefit. That's just the way it is. So David is urging these men, change your behavior, change your mind, live life differently. And this is our calling too. We are in the world, but we are not of the world. We are called to be different. We are called to be salt and light. If you're a believer in Jesus Christ, it should be no surprise when people hear that. People go, oh, I had no idea you were a Christian. Those words kind of sting. You shouldn't have to hear that. They should go, I knew it. I knew because of the way you lived you were different. I want what you have. That's what it should look like. So that finishes up this portion of Psalm 34. We will pick up tomorrow and finish it up with 17 to 22. And Thursday we hit Psalm 35 and so on, because we got a long way to go. So thank you for watching. Follow me on Twitter now, because apparently I'm there. I'm not really sure what I'm doing yet, but we'll learn. Subscribe, share, like, ring that little bell thing, whatever. I try to do these every weekday, so if you don't ring the bell, it doesn't really matter. But do what you do, and we'll see you next time. God bless.